Some people don't understand. It is not that I'm the only one who understands Wing Chun. At first, even if it's unusual for most of the Sifu guys out there, but they are more than only me, and it's not about understanding, it's about doing. We are the ones who are doing it, and we feel alone. We want to make you move. This series is not to blame Wing Chun. If everything runs good, you get activated, and this series changed the status quo. With the last video, Wing Chun Mutations or the JeetKuneDo concept, I closed the taking of evidence about the fatal fate of Wing Chun in full contact fighting. Let's see what we have in summary without the X-Men, a Wing Chun legend without videos, a Wing Chun challenge fight on the ground, and 4 dysfunctional losses in MMA fights. In 3 of that MMA fights, the Wing Chunner have no clue how to start. With them stance and no footwork, they offer the takedown and couldn't defend them. With that, the Wing Chun striking game was stopped before it starts. On the ground they do typical non-grappler mistakes, no positioning or escapes, and they exposed their back fast. In the 4th fight, an MMA brawler fight to show up what I'm talking about in this series, the fatal fate of Wing Chun in full contact fighting. The MMA guy bullied the Wing Chun guy down, no spectacular technique or game plan, simple violence, brawling, and Wing Chun couldn't handle it. Wing Chun doesn't fail because of these losses. The losses was only consequences of the failure. Wing Chun failed because of its background as non-fighting culture. Okay, now it starts to be difficult. A non-fighting culture is the opposite of a fighting culture, like for example Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Thai boxing. The Chinese people had a very special kind of dealing with real fighting. In them understanding if a fight between 2 Kung Fu masters break out, the winner takes it all and the loser loses everything. His face, his students, his school, his business, and the courteous treatment from the people in public. The idea behind is to make sure only the winning Kung Fu master as the best can run a Kung Fu school. This master was worshipped by the public. They was much respected. They enjoy a submissive behavior and the preferred treatment from the people. They were admired and adored more like others because they was warriors, masters of martial arts, and with that, masters over life and death. There are a lot of points to talk about. Next to the public shine and glory of the Sifu, we check the rule system of a Kung Fu school. The Sifu was the boss,
the leader, the guru, the master, the grandmaster, the great-grandmaster,
and the father figure. Parents paid to send them kids in the Kung Fu schools where the kids trained, lived, and get educated 24/7 for years. The Sifu is responsible and had to make sure his law and order is obeyed. For that, next to the physical skill training for the kids, he set up a psychological program to prevent his dominion of his small society. Simple said, rule number 1, the Sifu is the best. Rule number 2, if the Sifu isn't the best, rule number 1 is in charge. Together with the control over the skill level of the kids, a Sifu was safe. Nobody can come close to him, his skill level, and with that to his dominion. The Sifu feared the day somebody comes and wants the Sifu's power over his people, and this is what formed a non-fighting culture. Fighting in general became more and more rare because of the high risk to lose everything, and it was more smart even for the skilled fighter not to fight and to not lose something. The non-fighting culture opened the door for everybody. Everybody wants to be a Sifu, and everything was covered because there was not much fighting anymore. A Sifu get worshipped in public and rule an own clan. This attracted a lot of people, not only the masters with real skills. There was more people who want to get worshipped too, and they want also rule their own clans with followers who treat them as kings, even if they had no skills. There was always politics connected to fighting. A good politician comes around the moments where his skills are challenged. The overhyped respect and not to take face mentality allows unskilled politicians to play covered the Sifu. They persuade the people with knowledge they have. That's, by the way, is the reason for the keeping it secretly thing. The Sifu convinced through demonstrations and explanation. They debut themselves up. This was enough for the time back in the days. Their fight become actually more and more raw and was an attraction for the people, an absolute highlight, and high risk for the Sifus if they lose. That's why there was not much fighting anymore. Yeah. So in a fighting culture, it's different. Yeah, in a fighting culture, this is daily business, in sparring and competitions. Yeah, today is not enough to explain. You need to show not on your submissive student versus a resistant opponent, versus real pressure versus somebody who is skilled, who have his own plan, and your stuff really need to work or it hurts. Consequences directly, no explanation needed, no politics possible, skills only. But it is not like that in Wing Chun today. Wing Chun still is bounded by a non-fighting culture where nothing is based on results. everybody can talk. If you put all the Sifus in the world in the Maracanã Stadium in Brazil, everybody can explain, convince, impress with lineage or persuade the others. Nothing what all the Sifu say is neither confirmed nor refuted. Everybody can be a Porsche designer here, because there is no control, no results, no reality check, no niveau, no fighting. Nobody will find out. There are only never-ending discussion, uncountable versions, interpretations and mutations. But again, no results, not from a Sifu, not from a student. Then world is managed by certificates and diplomas, not by sparring with striker or rolling with grappling killers. They sell uncountable books about them pseudoscience, and they sell ego stuff, papers what make the students believe they can handle violence. Not sparring and rolling what makes you experienced and skilled in violence. No, everybody make his own standard, produce his senseless and unproved stuff to make big cash, and they only need to make sure them skills doesn't get challenged, not from somebody outstanding nor from his students. The Sifu spread this nonsense, this culture, and if them students open up Kung Fu schools, they also spread it, and them students too. This is how it developed since the 1950s, Kung Fu generation over Kung Fu generation, till the 4 million practitioners, including around 200,000 Wing Chun Sifus worldwide we have today, and again no results from a Sifu, no results from a student. 70 years for nothing. So you see, we need to reset the Wing Chun culture. It is our job, the job of our generation. They fucked it up. The training isn't so much the problem. There you need to add some training elements and that's it. The problem is the mindset. Not for all the new beginners, but for all the Sifus who are interested in fighting today. It will be interesting to see if somebody of them are ready to sacrifice them social positions for real skills. Because the first thing, there is no Sifu anymore. There are coaches. Stay on the ground, guys. If you run a school Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays for 4.5 hours a day, you are no Sifu. A Sifu lived, trained and schooled his students back in China 24/7 for 10 years and up. He was a father teacher. You are a coach who makes some people move for some hours on some days in their life. Hold your hall clean and be happy about everybody who walk the walk with you. Because fighting culture is not for everybody. Teach your students, passionate, train them, level up, make them strong, make them fast, make them dangerous, so that you have good sparring partner for yourself later. Every coach had to try to make every student better than himself. The coach isn't the standard, the competition scene is the standard. There will be always respect between the coach and the fighter, but different. There are no pyramid system like in the non-fighting culture. The relationship grow out of the things both going through. Hard training, always to break limits, to make you march where you can't march, to make you breathe if you can't breathe, to make you survive where you are dying. The fighter sacrificed himself. He's ready to take it all to become a skillful fighter, sweating, bleeding, puking. On the way he will die a million times, and the coach help him up, make him better, protect him. Out of this, respect, friendship and love grow between them. You will not understand this relationship if you don't go this way by your own. It's time, go that way. Let's form the fighting culture of Wing Chun. Free your mind, face the facts like a little child, be ready to give up all preconceived notions, otherwise you won't find out anything. Let's start with the mindset. The mindset of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was my role model. If you can't back up in Jiu-Jitsu, you don't talk, because you know somebody come and choke you out friendly if you play the master there. Skills beat propaganda. Also in basketball, for example. What is really competitive? If you can't dunk, shut up, stop talking like you're an NBA player, or somebody will come 1 versus 1 und putz dich 11-0 weg hier. In Jiu-Jitsu I learned to suffer and still to march if it's not over. Poada, getting tapped million times, humbled down on millimeter size, ready to take all. To do what is needed, no excuses, to live with pain but blessed with inner peace, satisfaction, happiness, with different view on life, with self-confidence based on real skills. I could start to be myself without the mask like everybody in Wing Chun is wearing. Me too in the beginning of my Wing Chun journey. Now I understand why I can wear my cute Pikachu rush guard and why they need to surround themselves with mystic and dangerous aura. If you really want to learn about about the mindset of fighter with real skills, go and join them training. My tip is BJJ. For MMA, you need grappling anyway. Go and walk the walk, learn about the mindset of real fighting and the spirit. Copy that and bring this to your Wing Chun school. Next thing is the location and equipment. The general standard need to rise. Everything need to be clean and safe. Mats on the ground, around pillars, on corners and on the walls. Limited safe space like a ring or a cage. Ground fighting area, big mats for throwing, sandbags and wall pads, wooden dummy, long poles, Wing Chun knives and puke buckets. The last but most important points are the requirements. You need sparring partner who are not Wing Chunner. We make it the most comfortable and professional way for us in the defense group because we had a sparring squad with own trainer in our house. The striking coach Volkan Kojak trained them in boxing, Thai boxing based JeetKuneDo. To handle the grappling part for MMA, the Wing Tsunner and JeetKuneDo fighter both train under BJJ black belt and MMA athlete Stefan Morales under supervision of Professor Peter Schira, third Dan Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. The daily routines start with 90 minutes of grappling including sparring and then the striking training for 90 minutes where the grappling class split in Wing Chunner and JeetKuneDo fighter. The Wing Chunner do them stuff on one side of the hall and the JeetKuneDo sparring squad do them stuff on the other side of the hall for 60 minutes before all join in for mixed sparring. Zeug anziehen, everybody versus everybody till the end of the training. If there isn't this professional structure possible for you, at last you need one Wing Chunner as training partner and one full contact martial arts school, maybe a boxing or Thai boxing club where you can go to do sparring with your stuff versus uncooperative opponents. If you want to do MMA, learn BJJ, luta livre or sambo because the secret to handle a grappler is learn grappling. Don't forget to make your Wing Chun partner better. If you need some guideline, here is some help. I found the WSA, the Wing Chun Sport Association, back in 2016 to study the current state of Wing Chun in full contact fighting at this time. Today, the WSA start to grow in her structure. We announced the first official president of the WSA, Brian Portwoznik. He lived, trained and fought in 8 countries, especially in Shanghai, China, where he ran a Wing Chun school for a few years before he needed to move for his main job as automotive designer for well-known car companies. Now based in Italy and France, Brian and me come in contact and we found out about our similar mindset and we had the same goals. Brian then visited us, the WSA team defense group for the first time in beginning of June 2020 for a week and now for a second week in July 2020. Motivated to change the game united, we rearranged the WSA structure and assigned the leading positions new. Brian was proposed unanimously as the new president of the Wing Chun Sport Association. With his charisma, long-time experience in martial arts, management skills and passion, he will represent the only association for full contact Wing Chun in the world. The first WSA project is to provide a Wing Chun competition team. In 2021, this team will compete on amateur tournaments of the German MMA Federation officially. This is connected to drill weeks in MMA fight camps in Germany, France and Italy. Watch out for the world's first Wing Chun competition team. Join the Wing Chun Sport Association YouTube channel to escort all activities and to see instructional videos about the Wing Chun competition training program. What you get for free. Why for free? Because you can't sell the truth. Yeah, nobody wants it. Now after all this, it is by you. The force is not in balance. Out of an unreleased WSA study about the fight ability of Wing Chun schools and organizations worldwide, there are 99.4% of non-fighting culture in Wing Chun. Let's bring balance into it. If it's 50% fighting culture and 50% non-fighting culture, the quality on both sides rise. Help us. That means we want you to join this Wing Chun competition team. At the moment there are 3 Wing Chun sport fighter in. For the rest of you Wing Chun guys, if you don't want to deal with Wing Chun full contact fighting, that is okay. There's a lot of space. Almost all your students would choose another hobby if 99.4% of the Wing Chun schools in the world would disappear from one day to another. But you better support Wing Chun sport, because if there are Wing Chun sport fighter in the future in MMA game, it will be them word what makes you legit or not. Watch out for the WSA competition training program part 1, Sport Wing Chun explained easy. Stay tuned and support Wing Chun sport.